The football recruiting list is piling up. We'll bring you the latest information. The Mad Rollin' Dolls are back and bouts are just getting underway. And we'll bring you a high school sports fall recap and a look ahead to winter. All that and much more. Keep watching. Your local sports news starts now. Thanks for joining us for the sports news. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and here are your local headlines. The football recruiting list keeps growing as schools are making their selections for incoming freshmen. In local news, Coach Kaminsky of Sun Prairie announced that Bailey Plater of the Cardinals will be attending Southwest Minnesota State. Offensive lineman Plater has officially announced his acceptance of this partial scholarship after his honorable mention all-conference title this year. The Wisconsin Sports Network will be on the watch all season for the next deserving recipient of their annual awards. The awards are presented to senior student athletes representing several categories in different sports. For basketball, categories include point guard, wing, post, shooter, and defender. Awards are chosen by nominations, coaches' input, all-conference lists, and player evaluations. You can visit wisports.net to keep up to date on players who are on the current watch list. The winners will be announced during basketball finals. A Wisconsin student basketball senior made news by sinking a full court shot recently. Riverdale senior Elijah Cannon went for the shot after rebounding the ball against Cuba City. Time was about to run out in the first half as the ball bounced off the backboard and into the hoop for a one-time shot this student nor the spectators will soon forget. The Mad Rollin' Dolls are in full skate as they kicked off their season opener Frozen Fury recently. Be sure to catch their next bouts on January 23rd, February 20th, April 23rd, and May 7th. Events take place at the Alliant Energy Center with doors opening at 5 p.m. and events starting at 6. Tickets for Game 2 are available now. Visit madrollindolls.com for purchase information. In Badger news, the Holiday Bowl is just around the corner as Wisconsin will make its 14th consecutive bowl appearance. They'll be playing Southern California, who will make their second straight appearance to the Holiday Bowl on December 30th at Qualcomm Stadium. USC is 8-5 with Wisconsin 9-3 in current standings. Wisconsin having the top-ranked scoring defense nationally and USC on a 5-game winning streak. The Badgers' attendance at this year's Holiday Bowl will be the longest streak in Big Ten history. If you'd like additional information on these headlines, please reference the media sources you see listed on your screen. Also, you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Thanks for watching the sports news, brought to you in part by the Red Zone Sports Bar in downtown Madison. For sports, music, and the best pub grub in town, visit the Red Zone. When we return, we're talking hockey. Your sports news will be right back. Welcome back to the sports news. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. We are bringing you all the latest in local sports. Your first report of the day, we are bringing you to your Wisconsin Whalers report. Here to talk hockey is Matt Resch and Ethan Luck, and we are so glad to have you guys. How are you?
Great, how are you?
Good. So glad to have the Wisconsin Whalers back on the sports news. This is your first appearance, but I want to give some folks just a little bit of background if they're not familiar with the program. Tell us exactly what you do and kind of how you come together.
We're a junior hockey team based out of Oregon, Wisconsin, so it's a little suburb right outside of Madison, and we have practice 5 days a week, and we have games every weekend, so kind of a lot of times taken up with hockey and a lot of time spent in the weight room and on the ice. And
yeah, this is a big part of your lives, this team, and I want to mention now, you two are actually from really some different areas. Matt, you're from Alexandria, Minnesota, and Ethan Bismarck. Tell us a little bit about sort of what that process is, how you come here and are brought to Wisconsin, and where you stay, how that works.
Well, we were really brought from all over the place in the United States and Canada a lot too, but we stay with nice families that just want to watch hockey, and a lot of them have little kids in it too, and so we just live around the community with host families.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting story. This is, like I said, a big component here for your lives, and a big chunk of your time is taken with practicing and, like you said, outside of off the rink and doing other activities. Now, let's take a little bit of a look behind and give us a recap of your season so far.
Well, really early in the season, we ended up facing pretty much the toughest teams in the league. And we came away real early in the second game of the season with a victory over the #1 team in our league right now. And so that was a pretty huge step for our organization altogether.
And let's take a look ahead. Next weekend, talk to us about the showcase.
The showcase is just kind of like it's a developmental thing, so it's for players to get noticed and kind of showcase their skills. And there's be a lot of scouts there. There's tons of higher junior level scouts, a lot of Division III scouts, and then scouts at all different levels.
So this is a big weekend coming up, and then after the showcase you actually have a 2-week break, which sounds like as much needed. Let's look ahead real quick before we go. What are you most looking forward to for the rest of the season?
Well, I'm pretty much looking forward to getting our break out of the way and getting the second half rolling, because that's where all our business needs to take place. I mean, the second half of the season is where we're going to solidify our spot for playoffs, and so we're going to shoot for as high as we can in that one.
Well, thanks so much, guys, for bringing us the Wisconsin Whalers Report. This is Matt Rush and Ethan Luck. We wish you the best of luck through the rest of your season. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next to talk basketball is Evansville. Brennan Banks and Kyle Rutkowski joining us. Brennan, starting point guard, and Kyle, starting center. Thanks so much for joining us from Evansville basketball. How are you guys doing?
Good, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We're so glad to talk a little bit about how Evansville is really off to a great start so far, 2-0 in the Rock Valley North and 3-0 overall. In your opinion, what are some of the contributing factors to your fast start so far this season?
Well, we've been playing together for quite some time. I mean, we didn't really lose anyone from the last year's team, so we have good chemistry and we're always like hanging out together and stuff. And I think we work hard in practice and open gyms and everything, so I feel like that's part of why we're successful so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard work and some team camaraderie, it sounds like, always important. Brennan, you're averaging almost 30 points a game this year as a junior. What do you think you contribute your success to so far on the court?
Well, I feel like a lot of my game is opened up by having Kyle in the post, and I can shoot outside, and it's kind of a lot of it. We have a lot of weapons out on the court, and kind of just take my shots when I can.
And Kyle, let's talk a little bit about this. So the two of you in conjunction are making a lot of great strides so far. You're averaging close to 20 rebounds a game and 16 points. That is a double-double a game. Let's talk a little bit about teams trying to defend this combination with you and Brennan. Kyle, what do you think?
Well, they kind of have to pick like which one they kind of want to go at. I mean, they can go outside and try guarding Brennan out there or some of our other guys, and then our post play will be open, or inside, or they can try going on the inside and then Brennan will be open on the outside a lot more. So it's kind of hard for teams, I feel like, because they kind of have to just pick one or the other.
Yeah,
Can't
absolutely.
really do both.
It's a good strategy, and congrats to you both on your success already this season. Let's talk a little bit about a look ahead to this Thursday. You face a tough opponent, Beloit Turner, the early favorite to win the Rock Valley South Conference title. So what do you think the key will be for you to try and defeat this team?
Well, Beloit is a really good team, but we're supposed to probably stop Alec Fruin. He's a really good player, a really good scorer, and if we stop him, we can make everybody else beat us, so that's probably what we're going to go with.
There you go, good strategy. And real quick before you go, one more question. You're tied with East Troy in the conference for the top spot. Talk a little bit about that matchup real quick if you can. Now, East Troy was the state final runner-up last year, so tell us about that.
Well, when we play East Troy, it's always a good game. Like last year, we won by 2 and they won by 2 in the 2 regular season games we played, so it's always close and it's always a fun game. I feel like we didn't lose anyone and they lost a few people, so that might help, and we kind of just have to guard them on the outside because they normally hit their shots.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. This is Brennan Banks and Kyle Rutkowski of Evansville Blue Devil Basketball, both being recruited right now to play not only basketball but football. So congratulations to both of you on your success. We appreciate your report.
Thank you for having us.
After the break, we're going to talk to the folks at On Ice Promotions about just about everything on ice. That report's next on the Sports News. Stick around. Welcome back to the Sports News. I am Jessa Jeremiah, joined now by Ben Cowan, who joins us as an owner of On Ice Promotions. Ben, we're so glad to talk to you today. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Good. So let's kind of dive into the meat and potatoes here and let people know what On Ice Promotions really does. This is everything on ice, right?
On ice, off ice. You know, it's hard to explain. So On Ice Promotions itself, it's myself and this guy Larry Clemens, who's actually the rink manager at Sun Prairie Ice Arena. We started this company 7 years ago now, really with one tournament. We produced the alumni hockey tournament. It was 16 teams from pretty much around the area of adult, alumni high school hockey players. And from that, we've gone down a bunch of different avenues. And On Ice Promotions today is pretty all-encompassing. So underneath it, we call OIP our mother company. We have high performance goaltending, which is very specific goaltender training. Larry runs that aspect of it, and he's got guys right now that are playing Division I hockey. He's trained Olympic goaltenders. He's got guys that are signing NHL contracts here in the next couple of years. We also have Pinnacle Hockey Development, which is our player development side. This year we're changing it up. Chad Schneider is actually going to run that for us, along with Dane Litke, who Dane was on the 1990 North Dakota NCAA championship team. We have the Junior Outlaws, and I know this is getting a little bit long.
That's okay, go for
it.
You said there was a lot, you were right.
So Junior Outlaws is a spring development program that we started 3 years ago. The first year we started it, we figured we'd have 1 or 2 teams. We had 6. Year 2 we had 12, and then last year we had 19 teams.
Wow.
So those are teams from basically mite hockey players on up through U18 boys and U19 girls. So I think that's probably like the skill development side of On Ice Promotions, and then now we've gotten more into even like rink management. So On Ice Promotions has the management contract for the Oregon Ice Arena.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot, like you said.
It's confusing.
No, it's a lot under one umbrella, but I think it's great. There's 2 questions I want to make sure and ask you before we have to go. Let's talk a little bit. You even do a Skate with Santa, 'tis the season. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So Skate with Santa is something that myself and this other guy started years ago, and then we gave it to Oregon Youth Hockey. For whatever reason, this year they didn't want to do it, so the rink itself is now doing Skate with Santa. So Skate with Santa is going to be next Sunday, the 20th. 8 to 10 a.m. is the public time. Doors open at 7:30, so it's a pancake breakfast. We'll have smoked sausage, scrambled eggs, pancakes, fruit, orange juice, milk, and gives the kids a chance to go on the ice, skate with Santa, for a couple hours, take some pictures, and have some fun.
So yeah, that sounds like a great family event and a lot of fun for the kids as well. I think, Ben, I could probably talk to you for the entire newscast here, but we got to go, believe it or not. Ben, thanks so much for sharing, just a broad overview on Ice Promotions and what that encompasses. We appreciate your report. Thanks a bunch.
Well, thanks for having me. We'll see you soon.
We turn our attention now to football at Beloit Memorial High School. We're joined now by head coach Rodney Waydig. We're so glad to have you, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me.
So you have left a successful Bigfoot program after 11 years to try to rebuild the Purple Knights program in Beloit. Let's talk a little bit about that process, if you would.
Well, I knew when I went over there 2 years ago that it would be a pretty lengthy process because obviously with the size of the school, smaller schools, it's a little easier. If you get 10, 15 people that buy into the program, that can make you competitive on a Friday night. So at Beloit, we're just trying to, we need more like 30 or 40 to be competitive in the Big 8 on a nightly basis. So we continue our program building. I thought we had a good plan in this year, and we're looking forward to the future.
And let's talk a little bit about some of the gains that you've seen from last season so far going into this season. What do you think?
Well, last season, like I said, we put in a plan in place in which we wanted to get a lot of young kids some repetitions where we had 2 platooned. We went an offensive and a defensive group, and we really got a lot of young kids some experience. So I think that experience will show this next season as we go in that they'll be better prepared and we'll be able to be very competitive in the Big 8.
And let's talk a little bit about that competitive nature going through. What are your expectations for this upcoming season?
Well, I think next season we have to kind of make that leap. In my first season we weren't very competitive at all. Last year I thought we showed signs of improvement almost every Friday night, and I think this next season we've got to be able to contend with everybody in the Big 8, and we got to try to win a few games.
And kind of building on that same question going into the coming season, but let's reflect a little bit too. What have been some of your biggest challenges as you've tried to really rebuild this program over the last couple of years?
Well, anytime you take over a program like that, one of the biggest elements is trying to get everybody on the same page. And I mean from youth tackle to the middle school coaches to the high school. So it's really, it's almost backwards where we start top down. And so now that I've gotten to know the youth program and the middle school programs a little bit better, I really try to get those coaches on the same page as far as teaching fundamentals. Because sometimes, it's human nature. A lot of coaches are really worried about winning, where at that level, I really just want them taught fundamentals.
Absolutely, got to build the basics.
Yes.
Coming up through the program at a young age. Let's talk, how optimistic are you going into this season? Last question.
Really, I like the group of kids that we have. We really made a point to pick the kids that are doing things the right way, that are doing things the right way in the classroom, on the field, in the community. And I think that group of kids have been great leaders for us, and most of them are coming back. Our crucial leaders are all coming back. So I really feel that the program is on the way up, and I'm really excited to get started.
Well, we are excited to see what you have to offer this coming season. Thanks so much, Coach Wadig, for your Beloit Memorial Football Report. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
When we return, we're talking sports with Lake Mills High School. That's after the break. Welcome back to the Sports News. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, bringing you all the latest in local sports. Turning now to your Lake Mills High School basketball report. We have quite the group joining us today. Joining us, we have head coach Steve Hinklin and players. We've got Simon, Colin, Alex, and Brady joining us all today. How are you guys all doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Great.
Yeah, we're very excited to chat with you all, so thanks so much for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about the continued success that you've seen in recent seasons. Give us a little bit of an inside look. Starting with you, Coach. Lake Mills has won at least 15 games for 6 straight seasons, a very impressive lineup. What do you attribute to this level of just consistent success?
I think one of the best things about high school sports is that when you have success as a program, it's really a community event. So we really have to thank all the people that helped with the youth basketball program, their coaches when they were younger, obviously parents that support the program and things like that. That's all been great for us, and that's one of the reasons we've been able to be good for an extended period of time.
I'm going to turn the attention a little bit to the players now. All captains on the team. Alex, I'm going to start with you. Let's talk a little bit about what it's like to play at Lake Mills. And this is a community that seems to really love basketball, as your coach touched on.
Yeah, it's great to have all the fans there night in and night out, and all the community members are there, and they're always, when we see them outside of the games, they're always congratulating us on how well we played and stuff. And the youth teams are there a lot too. They're always giving us high fives when we're coming out of the tunnel and after the games.
So that's, I think that's a testament to the community that you're in and the contributions that they make to your success as well. Simon, let's talk to you a little bit about some of the returning starters. There are 4 returning starters and, of course, high expectations there. How will that experience pay off this season, in your opinion?
Well, I really think that our returners have really helped us here in the first couple games. We've pushed through and got some good victories over like Marshall and Deerfield. But I think from this point forward, we've all started to get into the groove of this season, and it's just all about us all getting better together as this team this year, and that's how we're going to improve and be a good team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Need to look forward, of course. And Colin, I want to talk to you a little bit about, you've had a great career on the football field as well. So a lot of you guys are in multiple sports, in terms of Lake Mills. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, 11 of the 14 players on our roster are 3-sport athletes. And I think that shows a lot with our speed, strength, conditioning, coordination, all that. And it really helps our team chemistry when we're on on different teams with each other, it really helps our bonding, and I think that really shows on the court.
Yeah, and very impressive that you're all so multi-talented to be able to do so many different sports at Lake Mills. And Brady, let's talk to you a little bit about some of the strengths of this year's team. What do you think it will take for you guys to make a deep run in March? What's your opinion?
Well, I think some of the strengths of the team this year are our team chemistry and our unselfishness. And to make it deep in the playoffs, I think we're going to have to if we have a bad shooting night, I think we're really going to have to focus on the defensive end of the court.
Absolutely. And real quick, back to you, Coach. I want to mention that you guys are off to such a great start, ranked in the top 5 in the state. Real quick on what you think the potential for this team is.
Yeah, the potential for this team is really unlimited, I think. The rankings are fun, it's great for our fans, but I think we realize that it's more of a reflection on what we've done in the past and really doesn't help us win any games in the future. So, just day to day, we want to get better every day and keep our focus short, and then that'll allow us to accomplish some goals that we have, like winning a conference championship and playing as deeply into the state tournament as we possibly can.
Great strategy. Thanks so much to Coach Hicklin and the rest of you all. We wish you the best of luck for the rest of your season. You're off to a great start. That's your Lake Mills High School basketball report. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We turn now to Perry Hibner, Communications Director for Middleton Cross Plains Area School District and the varsity softball coach. We want to give a fall sports recap as well as a look ahead to winter sports. So thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for doing that.
My pleasure, Jess. Thanks for having me.
And I want to mention, you've had another strong fall sports season at Middleton High School. Tell us a little bit about your state championship in Division I girls golf. Let's start there.
Pretty special story. So it was a 2-day event. After the first day over at University Ridge, we were in 3rd place. We spent much of the second day in 2nd place. I believe after the 15th hole, we finally tied our Heartland Arrowhead. Took a 2-shot lead with 2 holes left. Ended up winning by 1 shot. I mean, it was tight all the way through. That's our 2nd state title. We also won one in 2009. Special group of girls led by senior Lauren Skiba. She was the state champion last year individually. She finished 2nd this year, but I also need to give a shout out to junior Alexis Thomas. She finished 4th this year and shot a 71 in the 2nd round, which was the best score of the day by anybody in any division.
Wow, congrats on the success there at incredible group of gals. Let's recap a little bit for us some other fall sports. Any highlights you want to mention?
Yeah, particularly girls tennis. We had a state doubles championship team in Division I in Abby Weber and Casey Skiba. Casey's actually Lauren's fraternal twin sister. That's kind of cool. So they decided to play doubles together this year. Casey had not played doubles before for us. Abby had played with 2 other partners the previous 3 years. They lost 1 match all year long at the state tournament. They played 5 matches, didn't lose a set. And I believe it's only the 2nd state doubles championship our school's won. The first one was back when I was in high school, so you can tell that was a long time ago. So we're excited.
Again, lots of great success. Our minds are also on basketball right now. So let's start with boys basketball. What can we expect from them this season?
Our minds are on basketball too. So we've got a very strong team. A lot of players coming back. At this point, we're already 4-0. We beat Madison East this week, and Madison East, one of the favorites in the Big 8 Conference. We're led by a trio of juniors, Tyree Edie, Storm Murphy, and CJ Furmanek. 3 outstanding players, and then Coach Kevin Bavery's got a very deep team. I think he kept 18 players this year. So the new format where it's 18-minute halves, 4 extra minutes a game has been a boon to us. We like to get up and down the floor, so they score a lot. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, very exciting stuff. And moving on to girls basketball, are the Cardinals going to advance to state again this year? What do you think?
I don't know. I'd hate to put a target on their back, but they are very strong. We're actually ranked 1st in state right now in Division I. We've played 5 games. We're 5-0, and we've already beaten Stoughton, who's one of the top teams in the Southern Badger. Verona, who was ranked in the top 5 at the start of the year in Division I, and Janesville Parker, who's another perennial power. In that stretch, we're averaging about 15 3-pointers a game and scoring 80 points a game. So again, We like to get up and down the floor. We're small, but we're incredibly fast, and we can really shoot the ball. So our goal, I think, is not just to get to state, but to win the state championship.
And we really do have to go, but I want to ask you this question before we leave. You've been named the new softball coach at Middleton High School. What kind of season are you expecting, in just a few words, if you could?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was honored that they offered me the position last month, and I accepted it. We're going to be very strong. We've got 5 returning starters, including a second-team All-State performer in center field, and both of our pitchers back. We know we've got a target in our back, but we'll be good, and we'll work hard to do everything we can to have another successful year there as well.
Well, Perry Hibner, Communications Director for Middleton Cross Plains, and now the varsity softball coach, thanks so much for your report.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We'll be back with more sports news after the break, so please stick around. I'd like to thank the many guests for your sports news reports, and a very special thank you to the Red Zone Sports Bar in downtown Madison for supporting local athletics. For sports, music, and the best pub grub in town, visit the Red Zone. That's all for the sports news. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. Please join us next time.